ladies and gentlemen, filmmakers and moviegoers alike. Welcome to this week's episode of Critically Casual, where, Dev, you're a little bit over to the side right now for some reason. It's there we go, that's better. And I was just fine. I was just trying to be helpful, and I gotta flip him. Oh, whatever. Say hi, Dev.
Hi.
Hey, he does speak English sometimes. All right. So, hi, Dev. How are you doing today? Before we hop into everything. You didn't enjoy yourself? You didn't feel the rush of adrenaline as you were cowering in your theater seat?
I didn't jump once. These two films.
You know, I would kind of have to also say that didn't happen to me either. Though I will say one of them was a lot more tense and a bit more thrilling. It was like a lot more suspenseful than it was horror. It's like, one of them I'm going to compare to Mama. And I'm pretty sure.
I didn't see that, but
Yeah.
the one you're talking about, I will say, it may be more suspenseful, but it's still a jump scare filled meh.
No, you're right. You're 100% right.
Both of them. You don't. Oh God, I hate jump scares.
Yeah. So I'm glad that we're kind of in agreement as we go and we start talking about things this week, and those things are The Curse of La Llorona and Pet Sematary. And if you don't know, I have decided to call this week Hollywood Hijinks. No, Horror Hijinks. My apologies. I was thinking Hollywood Horror Night. It's Horror Hijinks because this isn't really a scary week. So it's just them.
No, I was gonna debate dressing up in a Halloween costume and everything, but this didn't earn it.
Yeah, I thought we decided that we were thinking about it, Halloween costumes, because we couldn't figure
That
out.
I was going to, yeah, potentially, but it didn't earn it. I'll
Yeah.
say that. If one of these films were enjoyable for me, then yeah, I would have. But instead, I'm sitting here remembering other horror films we've watched.
Other better horror films?
And worse.
And worse, yes. So, we're talking about like I said, the Curse of La Llorona and Pet Sematary, and well, I'm not really, I kind of feel like this is going to be a shorter week for us. Unless we're going to start yelling at a lot of things, and we decide, you know what, let's just hype each other up in our yelling, and we just keep getting louder and louder as we yell at this movie, but I don't see this being that. I really don't.
No, they're both kind of,
Man.
like, I don't know, man. It's just,
Yeah. So, with that in mind, I think I haven't really decided which one we're gonna spoil quite yet. It might be both, but for sure, let's start talking at least about the Curse of La Llorona for now. So, Dev, I laughed, like I said, like I told you, in this film. I lost all internet connection for a second, and we had a lag spike.
I noticed.
But I laughed really hard at the key moments of this film that were supposed to be scary. And, this was bad. This was really bad.
it does have Linda Cardellini. Yeah, there's an echo.
Is there an echo?
There is for me. Weird. That was weird.
Okay, I was about to say, I don't hear one.
Weird. That was weird. Anyways, who is from Age of Ultron? She plays Clint Barton's wife.
Okay.
There's my one per.
Yeah, your MCU connection.
Yeah. But I was really upset. Both upset and kind of like, I see what you did there. When she walks into the house during one of the scenes, they're playing Scooby-Doo on the TV.
No, yeah.
You know what she's in, right?
No, I wasn't paying attention. No, is she the voice actor for Scooby Doo or something?
She's Velma from the Scooby Doo movies.
Oh, okay. I wasn't paying that much attention. That's cute. That's a cute haha moment. You're right. You know what, Dev? You just improved my rating of this movie. I'm just kidding.
Oh, great. Talking about that film. Hallelujah. No, it's this film. I'm going to say there's actually a moment of praise. Something I want to praise in this one.
Okay.
The child actors in this film aren't bad.
I would have to agree with you. Two of the, like, in this film, there are two really tense scenes that kind of get me, and they're always involving the children. Don't get me wrong, I think that's fundamentally the main problem of this film, is, what, just the fact that they use La Llorona as, like, our scary figure. But during those scenes when we're with the children, and it's her after the children, it's kind of terrifying if it's just them by themselves. Like,
Well, and they act really well.
yeah.
Like, they do a fantastic job in this movie. Like, both of them. So, congratulations to Jenny Lynn Kinchen and Roman Christo. Yeah, I think I
I
said that right.
I
Chris and
greatly
Samantha.
yeah, I greatly appreciate that you're trying to give the actors their credit, but like I wish you could read and pronounce names so we can
I'm
actually.
usually really good with first names. It's last names that fucking trip me up, man. 'Cause they're the most unique.
No, yeah, I agree with you. But like it's just funny. You're like, I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. It's Roman Crest.
I can say cruise, you cunt. For fuck's sake.
Oh, I'm sorry, but like my biggest problem with this film, like it's not a big. I love you, Dev. I'm sorry. My biggest
What? No,
thing
I'm
with
not
this,
bitter.
no, not at all. You're never bitter.
Never.
Like I said, kind of with La Llorona. I initially, when I went into this film, I wasn't concerned at first, but then I thought about it while I was watching the film. I was like, you know what? Will this movie actually scare me as a person who doesn't have kids and who isn't a kid? And it's a movie about a ghost who comes after children. And ultimately, I think that's the big flaw with this film is because it just has a very select group of people that it can apply to be scary to. And especially because La Llorona is just a fable about taking children. It's like my biggest worry about in the film was, is she even going to cause harm to the parents or the adults in this film because they're not children? Like,
And I'll say this: she also only seems to harm the moms, and then other people if need be.
yeah, it's like you're kind of stopping me a little bit, and she doesn't even really cause harm to the people that get in the way. It's like,
Nah.
yeah, it's just temporary distraction tactics, and then that, like, so yeah, I just think on a base level, there was a disconnect between La Llorona as a fable and making it into a horror film. It's
Yeah,
just,
I can agree.
and then
It just
yeah.
it does. I won't say it misses the mark, but it's more that it just doesn't resonate with certain people.
Yeah. And then like how they solve the conflict in this film is very much the exact same way they've solved every conflict in all of the Conjuring films, with just with like they find the godly figure and the godly figure lights the way to the path that's needed, you know? And it's kind of getting boring to watch these movies. It's just
Well, also, I'll say this: the first two Conjuring films didn't have them literally kill the monster.
that's also true.
Like the actual two Conjuring films, they didn't stab the fucking thing. Same with the Annabelle series. But in this series, this and the Nun, they literally beat up the villain.
And the small aspect, yeah, in some ways, yeah.
Like, I know it's kind of a spoiler. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to spoil it, but like, this is very much like The Nun.
It is.
It has the same issues
Mm-hmm.
that we had with it, which was just it's trying to be super jump scary the entire time. Um, the plot is kind of convoluted as all hell, and not as attached to reality as the other ones were.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just it just gets goofy at the end.
Oh yeah, like I always say with movies is like exposition. I hate exposition as always, and this movie has the worst kind of exposition where it's just like this is why this is important kind of thing. Like the very beginning of the film is just La Llorona's briefest backstory that they can give us. It's 2 minutes, and then it's hopped straight into modern, quote unquote, modern times. It's not
What,
modern
80s
times.
or 90s?
It's 70s, I think.
Is it 70s?
I think it's 1973. Let me double
Okay.
check though. But yeah, it's just it just I didn't enjoy this. It was just like here's the premise of why this is a scary figure, and then here's the scary figure in practice, the best we can get it, and it was just a silhouette of a woman in a dress and a white painted face with makeup around the eyes. The
Yeah,
exact same thing
orange
as
contact,
the yeah.
orange pupiled contact, black contacts.
Yeah, like black whites but orange color, and it's basically the exact same image as the nun. It's not scary. At least in the nun, it like they used more like shadows and stuff like this that made it kind of eerie. In this, the
Well,
scariest.
even the nun didn't do that enough. Like,
No,
that was one of her complaints.
yeah, like this just is very much just the exact same rhythm beats, and then at the end, when things are supposed to be scary, it gets really dumb. And
Yeah.
like I have to
uh,
say, my two favorite scenes in this film, no spoilers in context or anyway, were spoiled in the trailer, in all the trailers. The it's the bathtub scene and the car scene. Like those are the two best moments in those films, and they are in the trailers for this movie. Reasons why you don't watch trailers, Steven, right there.
yeah. Well, I'll also say this: there's really nothing else in this film besides those. Like, even those two scenes didn't really even get me. Like, because one of them, the bathroom scene, is later in the film, so I'm already disconnected at that point.
Mhm.
And like the car scene was cool. I'll say that it was an interesting scene, but shortly after, there's nothing, and it just kind of goes back to being like,
It's a
boo,
yeah, it's a
boo,
slow lull of
boo,
boredom.
or very obvious things that are happening that you shouldn't do.
Mhm.
Like, oh hey, my umbrella shows a woman through it, and then still it gets blown out of my hand.
Dude,
Maybe I shouldn't go chasing after the umbrella.
hmm the mere fact, have you heard the term Chekhov's gun?
Yes.
Okay. Um, that happened so much in this film. It was ridiculous. Like, the bathtub scene. The first time we see the girl when they've moved or whatever that happens in this film, because I really didn't
Yeah.
care. Like when she goes to wash her hair and she's like rinsing and she leans back. My first thought. I think I even said this out loud because I thought I was alone in the theater, but I wasn't. There were two other people, and I was like, foreshadowing. It's like
You gonna laugh?
I got at least one chuckle, I think. I don't remember. I made my own voices.
I actually
in my
had a
head.
weird, like, not to. I had a really weird moment at the theater I went to.
Okay.
I forgot how dark this theater gets during the trailers.
Oh god.
'Cause most trailers at other theaters will have some light on,
Mhm.
and then they dim it for the last like trailer. This one dims on the first trailer, so I'm walking into the theater, not able to fucking see, and I'm going to the side because I just didn't want to sit in the center because there was a lot of like it was like family here, a few aisles, family here, a few aisles, family here. I was like, I don't want to deal with that. So I was gonna sit on the side, and I already knew I wasn't gonna care about this film. Like walking in, I knew what my opinion would probably be. I left it at the door, but I didn't need the best viewing experience. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I sit on the side, and all of a sudden I reach, like, I feeling where the chairs are, so I can actually, like, sit. Because I can't even see the chairs on my side.
Okay,
That's how dark it is. Okay?
okay.
And I sit down, and I feel someone next to me. I'm like, I am so sorry. So I double back a few aisles. But, like, dude, lighting is important.
Yes.
When people are walking into a theater. Shit like that happens.
Dev had genuine human contact for the first time in a while, all because it was dark, guys.
Why are you such a dickhead?
I'm sorry.
Fucking asshole.
I haven't had a chance to talk shit at you for a week now. I have to catch up.
Why does everyone feel the need to catch up? Fucking bullshit.
Okay.
Anyways, but no, yeah, that's I was already disconnected at that point. Like, I didn't. When the bathroom scene popped up, I was like, okay, I've seen this in the trailers, and I'm already. This film has been what it is already for the last. I was checking my watch because I knew how long the film was, but I was like, has it been over an hour? Is it almost hour 30 yet? Like,
we're getting there, not quite there yet.
Yeah. Because this film it was very predictable, and then the end doesn't do anything predictable, but it doesn't do anything.
And, like, dude, the end has a moment where they have to, like, stall for time, and it doesn't even make sense. Like, the snapping between the stalling for time and then the jump right back into the action. It's just, it may just be something I don't know about La Llorona and her folklore that kind of translates into this film that I just don't get, but I don't know, man. All in all, if I had to watch this
Oh, we're
film
already
again,
at this
no,
point? Damn.
not there yet, no. All in all,
Oh.
if I had to watch this film again, I would probably take a nap through it. Like,
I was about to fall asleep. Well, and I'll tell you how my day went. I walked to the theater because it was the nearby theater. Because both the theaters are owned by the same company, so the lesser films are usually at the closer one to me.
okay.
So that's usually where I've seen the horror films, because those, unless they're big franchise ones like Conjuring and
Annabelle
and Halloween, those ones will be over at the other theater, but the other ones are usually over here. So I can walk to it. So I decided both, and usually films that are in their third to fourth week will be at that one as well.
Yeah.
So Pet Sematary was over there. So I literally walked to it. And I went to the first film, Pet Sematary, walked around for a bit. It was hot out. I walked around for a bit, did some Pokemon stuff, huge. Walked back, sat down in the theater, and I was like, man, this film better wake me up or else I may fall asleep to it.
And it did.
And the entire time I'm sitting here like, I want to nap.
It, like, genuine. One funny thing with me when I went to my movie theater, because, like I said, I was out in Oregon for my job working out there, and I could see, like, a smart comment going through your minds, like it went through your face. You're like, I have a smart.
Oh no, I was
comment.
yawning.
Okay, and then it was
hiding
interrupted by the yawn.
I didn't have any smart comments. I'm just literally like thinking about how tired I was is making me tired.
That's not thinking about the movie is making you scared. Thinking about the movie is like, man, I remember when I was tired and I felt I should be tired.
I'm gonna fall asleep.
When I went to movie theater out here, it was like, oh man, it's 8 o'clock. The movie starts at 8. It'll take me 15 minutes to get there because I went right after work one night. I was like, oh, well, why not? I'll see how it goes. And I get there 20 minutes after the film has supposedly already started. It's 8:20. The start time was 8 o'clock. And I walk in right as the film starts rolling. And I'm like, wait a second. Didn't the film start 20 minutes ago? There were 20 minutes of trailers and credits and all that shit before the movie even started. My theater out here in California doesn't do that anymore. Like, they start the trailers and stuff before the movie's supposed to actually start. So
Really?
yeah, like,
Weird. All of mine start the trailers before at the start time, but they usually only do, I want to say four trailers,
okay,
maybe 5 depending on what films are coming out and what film it is. that you're watching because like some films like there's a lot of trailers you can put in front of it because there you could throw a couple short ones in.
Yeah, there were definitely in both the movies today. I saw some. I saw two trailers that interested me, which I'll have to talk to you later about. One of them I tweeted about earlier today. So,
I know which one it is, and I'm interested in it. So,
all right. So, I mean, I don't really have much else to say about Curse of La Llorona other than it's fundamentally not a scary idea for a movie. And if it's
no, I'd say fundamentally it can be a scary idea for a film. It's just executed poorly.
yeah, it's how you do it, for sure. And this just didn't, especially because the damn setup early on with the whole you don't need religion to have faith, and then like that went nowhere for me without it. Just this is a bad movie. Like, do you want to give it some popcorns and move on, Dev, or do you
How many
want?
popcorns?
I don't. I think you have 10 of them. I think it's how many.
Okay, I'll probably give it a. Wow, that is a really loud crunch.
It was, yes.
Jesus, man, the fuck are you eating? Corn nuts?
No, I'm eating veggie straws. They're delicious and not nutritious.
Stop with. You're not advertised by them. Shut the fuck up.
That's why I said not nutritious.
Not, not an ad.
Not
Well, now
hashtag-
you're slandering them.
Hashtag not an ad. There you go.
There you go. I don't know. I don't. I don't really feel it's below a 4, but I don't really feel it's a 5. So I'm giving it a 4.5. Like it's not quite middle of the road, but it's not the worst.
Okay. You're definitely being more generous than I am. Because this is definitely, for me, someone who loves the horror genre, this is like a 3. It's.
It's fair. That's fair.
I have to say overall, one other complaint that I didn't have now that I'm thinking about it is the movement of the camera in this film.
Yeah, there are times where you literally see it shaking from them walking.
Yeah, and like a lot of it is them doing motion movement with like it's all one shots, which normally is kind of cool. But because the film is literally all one shots, really is what it feels like. It just gets boring and overplayed. Like there's no tense moment that's not with the camera moving in to see the character's face before it pulls back a little bit. Like
Yeah.
one thing that I really like about cinematography is the fact that you have tripods and stuff where you could set the camera. Like, sometimes a found footage film can do this right, where it's just like the cameras are set in specific spots and it builds the tension based on those specific spots. Don't get me wrong, I hate fucking found footage films, but
How dare you? Cloverfield is amazing.
however, when you mix, it was just bad. I wanted more. Like more still frames, less movement, something where it just feels like they put more thought into just how am I gonna have this person walk and how am I gonna walk with them, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it was kind of just off. There was something about this film that was just off.
Yeah. So yeah, you gave it a 4.5, and I gave
And
it
you
a
gave it a
3,
3.
so it's about a 4.
Out of 4.
All right, there's that. We'll decide if we want to spoil it more later, because there are parts of this film I'll gladly talk more about.
Oh, I would love to talk more about that.
Okay. I was about to say, you're thinking the same thing as I'm pretty sure, because you already partially spoiled it. But whatever. We're moving on. Pet Sematary. Wow. I didn't realize it until just now how, like, the tease. I couldn't get the actual promotional trailer to fit in this for some reason. It was way too big of an image to compress down within reason. So, I picked a different image, and they were really similar. I thought for a moment I had messed it up, and I didn't. They just hang on. I'm going to do a quick switch back. Wow, look at that. It's gray, it's white, there's a little bit of red, and there's a figure. And then on the switch over, it's gray, there's white, there's a little bit of red, and there's a figure. Okay.
Fair enough.
So, Pet
Pet
Sematary.
Sematary. I vaguely remember watching the original
Okay.
because I've pretty much watched every Stephen King film because my mom is a huge Stephen King fan, so she has all the books. So
Understandably.
I've seen all the movies. I've even seen like Dreamcatcher with like the weird worm things in it. Tommy Knockers.
What's the
I've seen
one?
a
What's like the TV movie where the guy's protecting his daughter from the devil, but he mentioned stuff about there being like a pixie bridge on her nose, and it's a two-part TV series movie. I don't know. I've seen some Pet Cemetery or some Stephen King movies, just not
I
as many as I'd
kind
like
of
to
vaguely
say.
remember which one you're talking about, but not greatly.
Yeah,
I've also seen the one where like they have that big old journey. I think Rob Lowe's in it. Plays
yeah.
a mute. But like I've seen a lot of Stephen King stuff, so
Hmm.
I vaguely remember this one, the original, and this one didn't feel too different from that.
Yeah, with me, I hadn't seen the original movie. I hadn't read the book, but I did after seeing this movie and learning that it changes. It's both very similar but very different from the original in the book.
Okay, is the
That
ending the part that's
no,
different?
no, that's from what I
Oh,
hear is the same.
okay.
It's just like the moments in the film are slightly different. Like instead, like minor spoiler for the book, not for the movie. Instead of it being the daughter, it's the son.
Yeah.
And
That's what the only change that I thought that they did that I noticed
and
was
there
they changed
Judd
that.
wasn't originally there wasn't a neighbor in the original book apparently.
Yeah, but I felt like Judd is a good addition.
Yeah, he was fine. I thought the pacing of Judd was a little weird. Like, the fact that he says. There's a scene in the movie where he's talking about how he likes the daughter Ellie. And he's like, Ellie has. I don't. I'm. How do I make this not. Like, I know it's not the words he says, but don't take this the wrong way. It's
He
something
says
along the
he's the
lines
first.
of.
She's the first person to
Have
like.
essentially, like, touched his heart.
Yeah,
Like, she's
to
the
make
first.
him feel love again, like in
Yeah.
a sense of like caring about something.
Yeah, it was like the. Yeah. So but it literally just kind of comes out of nowhere because all we see is this movie has a problem with time skips where it doesn't really tell us how much time has passed. It just fades to black and then it's a new day. And
Which could be a week later or not.
yeah, according to like apparently in the book what happens is like it's a 2 to 4 year period between the loss of the cat and then the loss of whatever happens, you know? And but in the movie it feels like maybe a day or two, maybe at the most a week to a month. But
Yeah, it feels like maybe a week has passed in between the time there and there.
yeah, and it's like that happens a lot in
Maybe a
this.
little bit longer.
Yeah, it happens a lot in this film like that, where like in the very beginning we're learning about them moving into their house and like settling in, and then there's a time skip of what I assume is a couple months, but I don't know, where they're like buddy buddy with the neighbors and they're like doing things and like it's just weird. I don't know. It's just
Yeah,
timelines.
it feels off.
Hmm.
It doesn't make the time feel consistent when you're watching it, which does throw you off because you don't quite like their relationships just get a little weird. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
It's 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 I don't want to say off, but it's very different.
yeah, this was the film that I was kind of comparing to Mama. I haven't seen Mama in a long time, but a lot of people called it a truly scary film. I felt it was a lot like this, where it was just a lot of slow suspense and tension, where it's not actually something terrifying that's happening, but it's the potential of something that's terrifying that's like leaving you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, yeah, I can agree with that because like it's it's got tension in it. Like, and I won't say it won't because that's the thing that I like in horror films is tension. But a lot of these scares that happen in the film aren't centered around the tension. Is part of my problem with it.
No, it's 100% jump scares in this movie, or a a new or a subverted jump scares is what I'm called. I can't remember what they're actually called, but there's the jump scare where it's like the setup and the punchline, setup for jump scare, and then there's the setup, the subversion of the setup, and then the jump scare, and those happen many times in both aspects. In this
Yeah, which, in my opinion, if you don't actually earn the jump scare, you didn't earn the jump scare.
yeah,
Like, there was one scene in the film where this dead thing that one of the characters is seeing kind of, like, makes a really loud cluttering noise as it falls down
mm-hmm.
something. And people in my row jumped that I was sitting with. Because I felt the rows jump. Like, the chairs move. But I'm sitting here like, eh. Like, and I'll say this. There was a couple sitting over to the other side, and they were just giggling the entire time. Like,
Oh, it's because they were schmoozing with each other. Well, I'm just
I didn't look back during the film, but I mean, I kind of understand why. It wasn't actually scary.
yeah. It was just like you said, jump scares. There, like I said, tension. It's overall like
Well, and I'll say the tension was there, but it didn't really relate to anything.
yeah, it didn't pay off the tension at all. I think at most the only way this kind of like redeems itself is with its ending, the way it ends. Like it that's to me
Yeah.
kind of the only reason why it's like that's the big payoff for all this tension and all the stuff that's going off is how it ends. So,
Yeah, I mean, the end is definitely unique to its story, but I don't know. Like part of my thing too is like I will say the two moments we talked about in La Llorona were
mhm.
more tension-filled, scary moments than this film had its entirety.
I would have to agree with you. The only time where I felt where I was like, "Oh my god," was right when the daughter and the dad are sleeping together. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Like that was the only like that was the only time when I thought, "Oh my god, this can go any way." And it like the cinematography in the moment had me that's the part that had me going was like I know what they're trying to do. I know what they're setting up. This is going to be really cool. And then it kind of didn't pay off. It had a small payoff, but it wasn't as immediate as you would hope.
well, and I'll say the only other scene like that for me would have been Jed's house,
Oh, okay, yeah.
which was kind of like you didn't quite know. You knew what was gonna happen.
It
Like, there was no two ways about it. You knew how that scene was going to end, but you didn't know how it was gonna happen.
there's it had one of those Chekhov's guns moments in this movie. Right
Literally.
there. And yeah, both with there was the literal gun and then there was just Chekhov's ankle as well. Or Chekhov's yeah, you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
it's just you see it, it's gonna be used. That's just how it works. But with
We actually
this,
talked about it a little bit in the other film, with Chekhov's gun. There was one thing in that threw me off in La Llorona,
okay,
because this film I think does the Chekhov gun stuff a little better,
okay,
um, in the sense of what you see being important. You see everything that's gonna happen, kind of thing. You see the dots connect. There isn't something that's randomly thrown in there that like makes you go like, wait, that was a thing.
hmm
In La Llorona, there's a basement, and you don't find out about it until the scene that she gets pushed into that room.
oh yeah, that's right. There's just a doorway, and then she's pushed into the door when it's open, and then it's locked. Yeah, I remember that. You have no idea that there's a basement there until she falls into it.
Yeah,
hmm
at the end of the film. This film doesn't have one of those moments, and I thank it for that.
hmm It the only thing in this film that it kind of like I wish they had more with was the kids. Like in the very beginning, the kids with the masks. Wish there's more of
Yeah,
them.
add up a little bit more lore with them rather than Jed.
I would have liked either more. I would have liked more of the kids than the one boy that we see with the son. Like I'd much rather more of them than him. you know.
Yeah. Yep. That would have worked a little bit better. Yeah, all in all, I didn't find this enjoyable for me. It's just this was very much this is the embodiment of middle of the road to me for
Okay.
horror. It has a checklist that it's gonna knock off the things. It's gonna try to jump scare you. It's very much a modern horror film.
Mhm. Yeah, I kind of agree. Like I love Stephen King. I love the horror films that like I like a lot of things when it comes to just being scared. And this one, don't get me wrong, it had moments where I absolutely thought, "Man, this can be scary." But like you said, it kind of just doesn't really do anything. It just really no, yeah. I just I like it because it definitely has like I love the ending. We kind of
Dating's
wish
cool.
I kind of wish they did a little bit more. Like they didn't. I wish they didn't cut it off where they did. I do like the kind of like symmetry thing that they show between how they start the film and how they end the film with using the exact same shots.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I'd have to agree with you. Like, it's very middle of the road. It's a bit rushed. It's like I had mentioned already. The time skips get me. It's just again, its approach to the idea. Like they changed a few things. They kept some of the originals, and ultimately, now that I've watched this movie, I want to read the book. Not quite the original movie because the movies are never as good as the book, according to everybody.
Okay, everyone.
Yeah. So, I would have to say that. Yeah, I don't know, man. I was disappointed this week for sure. It's just none of the films really went the right way with what they had. Pet Cemetery did it a lot better than Curse of La Llorona, but when it comes to scary movies, Us was better.
Yeah,
Um,
Us was better. Get Out was
that
better.
was better. Halloween, though that was also disappointing to me, that was still better.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I felt I enjoyed Halloween a lot more. You know, a film I still would probably rather not see over these two.
What's that?
Exorcist of what is it of
Oh,
Emily Rose or whatever the
yeah,
fuck it was.
the exorcism of whatever the fuck her name is.
Yeah, that one
Hannah
was
Grace.
Hannah Grace. Thank you.
Remembered it. The exorcism of Hannah Grace. Yeah, that was bad.
That was bad.
It's it fucking sucks to me that like I've said this many times that in my own opinion, horror is the catalyst that makes good film. They're always the ones that push the boundaries and the limits. And like even
And it's how
lately,
you find great directors.
I was
And
just about to get there. Like great action films for DC superhero movies have been made by horror directors.
James Gunn used to be a horror director.
James Wan
Yeah, I know James Wan. We
or
talked.
whatever. I don't think it was James
But
Wan.
James Gunn. No, it's James Wan,
Okay,
I believe.
I'm double checking anyways.
Thank you. But James Gunn also did horror films.
Yes. Australia.
Like they
Yeah, James Wan.
yeah, James Wan, and then the dude who did Shazam did Lights Out and the Annabelle creation.
Yeah, like it's a horror writer a horror writer and director definitely knows the right way to make a film. But it sucks when you don't have the right premise for a horror idea or you just don't execute it the right way.
Yeah, I mean, and I can see with these two films where they're going with it. It's just for me, I've seen horror film. I know what I like when it comes to horror films.
Yes. These
I'm very very picky. I am not. I may be the casual of this group, but I am not the casual for horror films.
Mhm.
I am much more critical on horror films. You, on the other hand, are far more the casual when it comes to horror films.
A little bit more, yeah. Like I go softer on them, I'll be honest. But it's because they're my favorite genre and I
Yeah.
like the behind the scenes stuff when it comes to them. A lot of horror that not many movies do, that they need to utilize, is the use of backgrounds. Like, it. One of the genuinely scariest scenes, or at least the one that made me feel the most creepy, was when in the new It, the boy in the library is reading the book, and if you look in the background, you can see all the people in the library just staring at him as he's reading through this book about the deaths of children in Derry. And, like, that's genuinely creepy.
Yeah, I would have liked more of that because there are plenty of moments where you could have had some backgroundy stuff. Like, because I'm always in a horror film, I'm always watching the background. The Exorcist has one of my favorite scenes with background when the mom is walking through the kitchen and the heads start showing up around her, but she doesn't see them because they're behind her and they're only images. And like, it's so campy, but it's so good because it's this tension building moment that the character you're associated with doesn't see it, but you see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's stuff like that works so well.
Yeah, and like even the nun had it where crosses were in the background would at least flip upside down, and at least that's cool. That's a little bit attention giving and attention grabbing, but neither of these films really had that. It's just they were kind of unsettling. There was just like with Pet Sematary, the people looked weird and creepy. With Curse of La Llorona, it was just a jump scare.
Yeah.
So at least in this one, like the things that come back look creepier, like the cats. The cat looks genuinely disturbing. But though there are times when I'm like, oh, look how cute that cat is. For sure, that happened to me at least twice. It was right after the cat attacked somebody. It just had a face of, I'm happy now. I was like, oh, that's a cute, happy cat.
There are times where I'm like, that's not a real cat, though.
At least once or twice. Yeah.
Where it was like very obviously some sort of puppet. I'm like, I love like practical effects, but damn it.
I prefer this practical effect cat over the digital effect Flurkin.
Fuck you, the Flarkin's amazing.
We'll agree to disagree on this one, okay?
No, we won't.
Alright. I don't really know what else I want to yell about in this film. Other than it was kind of just a little bit of a letdown.
Well, what would you... How many popcorns would you give it?
This one, I would definitely give more of Chris.
You only have 10.
Only 10? Oh, damn it. I was going to give it more than 10. Oh, fuck. Well, I guess in that limitation, I'd probably give it about a 5.5. It's
Fair.
not quite exactly middle of the road because it does have its moments that like I thought were genuinely kind of creepy, and it all has to do with the cinematography of the moment, but otherwise it was kind of a letdown.
I was going to give it a 5.
Cool. So 5 it is. 5.55.
5.5 it is. Oh, spoiler time.
So Dev, which one are we going to spoil? Which one do we want to dissect? Because
you know which one's probably gonna be more funny to talk about the end.
Yeah, like when it comes to movies, I would love to talk about the cinematography a little bit more in Pet Sematary.
We can do that.
But I would definitely say that The Curse of La Llorona will have a more entertaining discussion.
Oh. Hi.
Hi,
Alright,
Chasing.
so the end of Curse of La Llorona.
Yeah, let's just do that.
La Llorona. La Llorona.
So
The end of that film. You want to know how bad it was?
I would love to know how bad it was.
The scene in question. I'll set you guys up with this. So we find out that these red willows are the only witnesses to La Llorona's crime. So they're the only thing that can stop her. Fire willows, sorry. So, there's seeds and stuff like that. She gets to the house. She's about to take the kids. There's a fire willow cross, and they stab it into La Llorona. Mm-hmm. You want to know how cheesy and campy it was? To the point that people in the audience were laughing.
No, dude, that was me. The exact same. Like, not only is the thought that this man who left the church because he thought that the church religious and infrastructure was so bad. Like he still had faith in God, but he left the church because of religion and stuff like that. But he's still still a demon hunter to the point where he has a specialized item specifically for fighting La Llorona. And
Why hasn't he killed her yet?
yeah, exactly. That for one. And two, how it's used. Like, sure, maybe the seeds can keep her at bay. But fucking stabbing her in the chest with a fucking cross made of the fucking firewood like,
It's almost as bad. It's almost as bad as the spitting Jesus blood scene. Almost.
so, because when you think about that, while she's under spitting Jesus blood scene, this is what I'm talking about. This is bad because she takes the blood, she drinks it while she's underwater, assumes that
This is from the Nun, by the way, for people who don't know. This is why we're comparing it.
Yeah,
it's just as cheesy.
Yeah, you think about it. She takes the blood of Jesus or whatever it is, she holds it in her mouth, and she's being drowned by this demon underwater. And thankfully, the demon doesn't know how to check for a pulse because it lifts her up, and then she spits the blood into the nun's face, and it melts the nun away. And like, cool, lucky that happens to work. But in this instance, this man has a fucking cross specifically made of the one tree against this one spirit. And then instead of it being like, the power of Christ compels you, it's just, I'm going to stake you through the heart like a fucking vampire.
Oh, yeah, because the thing's charging at her. And she just, it's, oh.
And then,
like, and I'll say this, there's this necklace that she has that gets shown like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, yes.
And it does nothing.
The thing that I find it ridiculously dumb, it's like they set up the necklace so it explains the end when she pauses and gives the parents enough time. Because in the beginning of the film, we see, this is the exposition I hate, we see La Llorona with her kids and the husband, and then suddenly we see that they all disappear except for one kid, and then the one kid goes walking away after giving La Llorona a necklace. Turns out La Llorona was the mother of these 2 kids, but her husband cheated on her with another man, so out of spite, she drowned the 2 kids, and then out of grief from drowning her own children, she killed herself. But the necklace reminds her of her children that she lost on that day. So it's like, oh, cool, that's cute. And it has nothing to do with anything until at the very end when the 2 kids are hiding and the parents are knocked out or shot and dying. And they hold up the necklace and it's like...
Well, how they get the necklace is silly, too.
Yeah, they get it from her in a fight in
mom
a fucking
pulls
pool.
it off of the spirit. It's not like an intangible thing that can disappears with her. It literally just pulled off of her, which, in my opinion, goes against everything I understand from other shows that I've watched.
About ghosts and stuff like that, yeah.
Because it seems to be the thing that she's connected to this realm through. So, Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
But my immediate thing, my brain went to supernatural. Hey, let's fucking burn this. Let's salt and burn it.
Yeah, this was... What's the term I'm thinking of? It's not a simulacrum. It's a magical term for... It's a base... Like you said, it's the anchor, the soul anchor.
Yeah.
So... She is a lich, is what I would call it. There's a part... In D&D, there's a phylactery, I think it's what it's called. It's the thing that holds all of the power of an object and that they can emanate themselves from that object. You would think the necklace was that, but no, the necklace is just like a thing that she grabs from a fight because this guy who was once a priest but then no longer is a priest decided, you know what? I might need this vial of stuff that turns regular chlorinated water into holy water.
Yeah, the entire pool becomes holy water, which was silly.
Yeah. That's good to know. Now I know that if I ever need holy water, I just need to find a priest, or a former priest, I should say, and some sort of powder, whatever that is, and I could dip it in.
Oh, wait, I forgot to hit the button, by the way.
Let's get ready to spoiler!
It needs more bass.
I can fix it later.
Okay.
Forgot to hit it. Whoops.
It's okay.
We're here, though. But, my God. during this entire like the necklace was what I thought would be what you beat her with. You know, it was set up to be that thing.
You would think so, yeah, but no, I'm just gonna stab her in the heart with a cross made of the trees that were around her when she killed her children.
All the witnesses of her crimes.
Yeah, like, it would 100% make more sense to destroy the necklace and destroy her bond to this world. No, it's fucking trees that don't have any importance. Like, this priest, the main thing I hate about this movie is the fucking priest. Like, I didn't even realize...
He's not a priest.
Yeah. I didn't even realize in the film when he's going through the original house and gets the tears of La Llorona. I didn't even realize that was the same guy at first. I thought they were two completely different people. And then when he sanctifies it, I'm like, oh, wait, anti-venom? What the fuck are you... What? Yeah.
Dude, right? Anti-venom. Which would imply that someone gets infected through this, right?
Yeah.
But instead he just throws it at her face.
And it burns her.
Llorona.
It's the exact same scene from The Nun, just a little bit earlier.
And that fucking stab, dude. It was so dumb.
Yeah, it was also the exact same scene from The Nun. I'm pretty sure this is like an original Disney moment where they took the original animations and reskinned them for a different scene. Like...
They have very similar outfits and very similar...
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, they just turn into a swirling pool of liquid and then shrink into some tiny object. Be a crack in the ground or the cross.
Or a cross.
Like...
And then the end where she's, like, staring past a puddle and, like, acting very...
It's because
Like-
she's been changed with her experience. La Llorona. Like, normally, with cinematography, what happens when an image flips and you see something upside down, it means that the world view is changed or things are about to change. Like, with Black Panther, when it flips in the throw room, when Killmonger...
Oh, yeah, no, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a sign of how Wakanda and things are going to change. Same happens with shit. What movie is it? It's some movie about characters flying. I'm pretty sure it's... I can't remember it, but there's possibly, I can't remember exactly. But what happens is, like, the first flight, the guy, like, dives, and it shows, like, the camera go upside down as he's diving, and he's panicking. But as he figures it out, the camera straightens back up to normal, and it's like...
Or another great one is Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes, exactly. When he jumps off the building and he's falling or rising through the city. And
Yeah.
and reflections are a big thing as well. Oftentimes when a character is staring into the distance and you see the reflection, it's because they are lost in thought and contemplating something deep. So this makes me think that, like, this woman who saves the children is going to be possessed somehow by La Llorona and start killing her children in, I don't know, whatever year The Conjuring is set.
I don't know. It felt very weird for the end. It was very much a cliche, who knows what happens next ending. You know what I mean?
No.
That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, it was very much that. It was very much a who knows next kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
this movie altogether was bad. Like we said initially, it was just... Yeah, just... I want to yell. I want to yell more. But we've already stated things that I can't think of off the top of my head. It's just that, like I said, the biggest fault is that they didn't approach the terror right, and the fact that they freaking use religion the way that they do. Like, I honestly thought that, like, imagine when you're building a D&D character's backstory, because my life has been a lot about D&D as I try to make up, you know what. Like, I just imagined, like, this is when this is like that priest's original backstory, in a D&D campaign when like he's a level 2 explorer when everyone else in his party is a level 1, and that's because he did this battle with La Llorona, and like that's what that felt like. It was, yeah, I don't know.
It was silly.
Like,
It just
like the reason why I thought the car scene, that was, I thought, kind of interesting, scary, because the music does a lot in these films, especially horror. The sound design is key, and the fact that you can hear the, like, it's like the the windows going down and him struggling and the tense music and all that stuff. That was kind of interesting. But yeah, but then after that, it's just, oh, I didn't. Ghosts don't exist, so I can't tell you I'm seeing a lady who's attacking me.
yeah, there was a lot of that too, where it was just like, I don't know. I don't. We can't talk about it, even though we've all seen it at this point. But we don't know we've all seen it, so we don't talk about it. It's just, That's what I think.
I want to know, like, why did I mean, I guess it was kind of explained partially a little bit, but like, why did La Llorona start targeting our main character's children?
Because
She was prayed to.
yeah, she was told to. She was given an option to. You know what I mean? Like,
What, I don't really see that as like, I know that's how they explain it in the movie, as how it's supposed to be the write-off is, hey, La Llorona's attacking you because the children of the parent of the children that La Llorona just killed wants your children back, and you're the reason that La Llorona got to those children. So yeah, blah blah blah, anger stuff. But
it's not explained. It's just easy target. Easy
yeah, it's just
victim,
convenience.
So.
It's like the setup.
You're looking too deeply into it.
Yeah, it's poor setup for the film leads to poor emotional connection on why this is happening, leads to poor movie. Like, I don't know, Dev. I am really disappointed this week because I thought at least Pet Sematary was going to be cool, and it had its moments. But
It's been a rough couple weeks.
Yeah, this month sucks.
This month has Shazam was fun,
Shazam was fun.
and we gotta watch the original Hellboy.
That was okay.
Fucking dare you! It's way better than you give it credit for.
And let's see, yeah, Shazam, Hellboy. We're on week 3. Next week is the last week, which hopefully, for the love of God, if next week is terrible, I don't know.
I have wasted 11 years.
Yes. Like, do we just want to move on? Are we done with spoilers? Do we want to move on to news and?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's move on.
Okay. Because there's
We
also
can give a layout for how next week is gonna go too. Like, so
Yeah.
I can give that real quick.
Go for
Plan is that me and Steven will start out with a revised list, because we need to do that. Jesus Christ, fucking hell, man! Your mic is stupid sensitive.
I don't know why it's sensitive right now. Every other
I don't
time
know.
when I use it, it doesn't. It's not this bad.
I don't know what's going on. It's just like it's picking up you. I think it's picking up me occasionally. Like, I don't hear you messing with your mic. Steven, is it your headset? It's your headset!
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is! I don't hear you poking that mic. I hear you poking your headset.
Oh, you're hearing me through the headset?
Yes! Okay, so the chat's not hearing
Okay.
you like that. Okay. Holy shit.
Okay. I was like, I don't see any sound spikes in the
Oh
chat. I
my
don't know what you're
god,
talking
my
about.
life has. I've been so confused.
Yeah, I was like, I'm moving
Because
away
I
from the
listen to the
mic.
stream occasionally too, and I don't hear what I'm hearing, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Suddenly everything makes sense.
Suddenly. Okay, yeah.
It's just me hearing your nuisance of crunching.
Okay. Thank God. Now I feel better.
Fuck.
Hang on. This is for you. It might help a little bit. I don't know if it does. Does it help?
I
I mean, I don't hear myself as much now, so
Oh, that's good.
that's good. But no, like next week we're gonna do a revised list of our Marvel Cinematic Universe, where we add in Infinity War, Captain Marvel, Ant-Man and the Wasp. We'll decide if we want to add Endgame into the list at the end of the show or not.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to talk about as well, because I do think we should add Endgame in there, because we're already watching it. We're adding things in there as is.
But I don't know if Weekend of is the time to put it into the list.
No, I would agree with you. We should let it settle a little bit
Yeah.
as well.
Because that's what we've done with every other film. We've given it a little bit more time. But, like, we're going to do that. We're going to then just pretty much talk everything Endgame.
And which we're still trying to coordinate. We're hoping for some guests on the show that week.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see what happens. If not, Steven will be Iron Man, I'll be Captain America, and we'll have fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll be pretty much, it'll be the Endgame day. That's all we're going over. We're going to go over the non-spoiler part of it, and then we are going to dive into everything. There's 3 hours of shit to go over, too, so that'll be plenty of talk of non-spoiler and plenty of spoiler talk. Like,
oh yeah, there's going to be a lot of debate and lots of conversations, and I already know that we are going to yell like we did for Infinity War. Like,
well, because you always have such a goddamn angry outlook at Marvel when the film first comes out, and then after like 2 months, you're like,
I was a little.
Dev, I was wrong. I'm like, no fucking shit.
I'm sorry, I have superhero fatigue. Okay. Sorry.
I mean, fair, but usually the fatigue I feel like is caused by other franchises.
It's just you try watching 6 superhero movies critically in a year and tell me you're not bored of them after a while.
I mean, fair, but we have to talk about the other 3 because they're usually not as good, and we need to explain why. I mean, this year so far, all the superhero films besides Hellboy have been all right.
Mm-hmm. So far, so good.
And since even last year, since November, October, whenever Aquaman came out.
Yeah, it's just that there are a lot of the same things. It's just action and comedy, and just where they move it is a little bit different. So, it's boiling it down to its simplest form. Yes, I understand that at this moment, but I think it can get kind of boring at times.
I'm not going to fight you on this right now because I will be fighting you a ton next week. And
yeah.
We will literally... There's a chance after this call, me and Steven go to blows as we discuss the list.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun discussion.
Yep. It's going to be great. So, but that's the big plan for next week. We're going to pretty much just deep dive Endgame. And it's going to be fun because there's a good chance that our podcast will be a 3-hour one as well. So
I really hope, like, I understand that we do the 2 episodes and we have our like hour and a half long to 2 hour long episodes. I'm going to feel bad that if we actually have a 3-hour long review podcast, like,
we've done that.
I know. I don't know how we have podcasts reviewing a movie that are the exact same length or longer than the actual movie. But we've done it.
And Infinity War was one of those. Because there was just a lot to talk about.
If we talk for another 30 minutes, we'll officially have a longer podcast than the Curse of La Llorona.
I know. We're not going that long.
No, because there's not much to talk about this week. These movies were just bad and not good, and news-wise, there's not much, at least not that I cared for.
I mean, I saw a really funny article that was joining the Avengers cast was a lot like joining Friends.
Could you repeat that one more time? My internet lagged.
That Paul Rudd joining the Avengers cast was a lot like joining the Friends cast. And I was like, no shit, he joined a well-established group that have gotten to know each other over the last X amount of years that are really close together, and then he comes in and people love him anyways. Like, yeah, it's the exact same fucking scenario for him.
Paul Rudd. People love him.
Yeah, Paul Rudd, he's good at coming in and enhancing a show. Like he's good. He's a good fresh breath of fresh air when it comes to his comedy and what he does. But he's not good at establishing. You know, like he's when people are tired of what you've got going on, throw Paul Rudd in there. They'll be happy again.
Yeah.
And the only article that I kind of found, it's not really much to talk about anyways because I read through it and it's Vic Mignonia. It depends on how you pronounce his name, because just like you, I can't read last names.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, and he turns out he's suing Activision for
Activision, Funimation.
Funimation. My apologies. He's suing Funimation for defamation and costing him a bunch of jobs. And he's suing for monetary relief of over $1 million in addition to other relief in which he finds to be justifiable or equitably entitled to, seeing as he's lost many opportunities for work because of this accusation, as he calls it.
Yeah, I mean, given some of the people who have spoken out about it, what happened with it, what happened,
Mm-hmm.
like, they all, like, when the number of people who come out like they did at that moment,
Yeah.
it's tough to kind of be, like, sympathetic in this scenario, because there's a good chance something was there. So, like, I also don't believe there's enough there to file a real defamation suit anyways. You know what I mean? Like...
Did I just see what I think I did? I did just see. So, in this article by Variety, there's also, like, they show the document, the official court document for Vic versus Funimation. There's stuff in here that I didn't read because, of course, I don't know law. I don't know what half of this stuff means. But there's some things in here that could be kind of damning. But also at the same time, I'm not entirely sure if they are. And there's just like random things like tweets and stuff in here that caught my attention. Sorry. Like overall, I'm not sure what's going to happen with this. Like at this point in time, they haven't really confirmed nor denied. Like there's not been a super damning evidence that Vic has done these things, other than the vocal outcry that happens online. And I don't know. Like, this is a gray area. I don't think he's going to win. Like, Vic is definitely not going to win against Funimation. I don't think.
No, yeah, there's not enough there to make a... There's not enough there for him to win this case, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, it's...
Because
go ahead.
It's... There's enough... Like... It's enough... He said, she said. Not... Like, this isn't me minimizing what may have happened here. Mm-hmm. This is more me saying from the point of the law, for him to, go, defamation lawsuit, he would need more evidence of that, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like that they were doing it to attack him.
Yeah.
Because Funimation was more covering their own ass.
No, yeah, I agree with you. In this instance, like, the accusations came out long before... about a month before Funimation cut him from work and got him, like, lost him all of his opportunities. So, yeah. It's not Funimation's fault directly that he lost his, like, that all this stuff happened to him. And I don't see that, like, his complaints being valid in any way. Like, sure, at some point, maybe if they were the first ones to say, hey, you are accused of sexual harassment, you're fired, and then nothing came across with those sexual harassment things, then yes, maybe. But now, because they didn't start it, and there's the gray zone of if he did or if he didn't, there's just, like you said, not enough.
In all honesty, there's if that many folks like come out saying that like, hey, this, he did this to me, and there's multiple accounts of it. It it doesn't look very much like a positive outlook for him, as in like him going to be able to come out on top on this. So
There's a quote here from Vic, which I find kind of interesting, and it says, well, there's a whole quote that says, Vic has denied the allegations on his Twitter in a statement in January and calls the accusations overall heartbreaking. I would like to sincerely apologize to anyone who ever felt my interactions with them, be it a hug or a kiss on the cheek or forehead, as crossing the line. I would never in a million years would it be my intent to make anybody feel uncomfortable. I don't know if I believe that. But,
again, we'll
find out after this 27 pages of
legally, defamation isn't really about the intent of the parties. It's more about the impact of his character and public perception. But again, I wouldn't because he's going after like a large group of people too. It's not just Funimation. He's going after voice actresses, and I don't know about any actors, but I just know of some of the voice actresses he's suing on top of that.
Yeah.
It's like I don't really feel like it's unless if this whole thing is made up that's happened, then yes, it's on them.
So why isn't he also suing like Rooster Teeth for that instance? Like, sure, he's suing individual people and Funimation, but I'm pretty sure the first people that got rid
Let
of
him go
were Rooster Teeth.
Yeah, was Rooster Teeth. Rooster Teeth let him go immediately.
Yeah. So why isn't that a thing that's happening as well? Don't get me wrong, I love Rooster Teeth. I don't want them being sued anytime soon, but now it just feels like it's the biggest fish kind of thing. He's like, where can I get the most money?
Yeah. And sue some of the bigger voice actors that work there, like Monica Rao. Like, she's on that list. So it's, it seems like he's taking advantage of the opportunity that he sees before him, even if it isn't an actual opportunity.
Yeah. He's like, hey, I'm not going to be making money. I should do something to make some money. So, I mean, I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. One last thing that I wanted to talk to you about.
Uh-oh.
It kind of hit me. It's not really a news article or anything. It's just a conversation piece. Is there anything really that you're excited for coming out recently? Because when I think about things that I love that come out often but are ending, there's Game of Thrones, that's coming to an end. There's Star Wars, they're putting a temporary end to the movies that they're releasing. And there's this 10, 11-year arc of Marvel Cinematic Universe that's coming to an end. So, like, this is an end of an era for media and film and stuff when it comes to entertainment. I'm not sure what I'm looking forward to after this stuff. Like,
Well, I'll say this: I'll look forward to what Marvel does next with Phase 4 onward. I'm just to see what they do with the properties and what the next threats and what the next arc they can pull off is. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like the fact that they pulled off this is mind-bogglingly insane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see if DC can pull their heads out of their asses.
Okay.
Which they're working on. It looks like the only problem, one of the major problems that I still have with it though, is that it's so disjointed that nothing feels connected.
I mean, I think that's the point though now.
Yeah, which doesn't make me feel better. And TV wise, My Hero Academia, but that's because I'm a trash weeb.
Hard.
No, I'm a trash weeb. I don't follow real anime. You know what I mean? I follow mainstream.
Yeah, mainstream anime. I get you.
But other than that, like I don't got shit, dude. Like,
yeah, Danielle. Joke's on you. Disney is going to make a princess superhero universe. If they do, I'm going to be really upset. Like, don't get me wrong. The only reason why that would be acceptable if it's like Disney Infinity they bring back and it's a game where the princesses team up with the superheroes and become superheroes.
that thing cracked out itself so bad.
Yeah, so... But if it's just like, hey, I am Moana and I can control the ocean. Like, no. That's not okay. Moana meets Aquaman. That'd be interesting.
Moana would win.
She controls the ocean. Aquaman
No,
controls
she
the
doesn't.
people
The
in
ocean just works with her.
Oh, God. I don't... Do you have... Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Nah, I got
Dad?
nothing else this
I
week.
was about to say, this, I think, is possibly our shortest episode ever. I'll have to double check.
Close.
But, yeah. There's just not much this week to talk about that was good, and I didn't find much news that interested me, and... Yeah, I guess that's it. I guess that's everything.
Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter and YouTube and here on Twitch. And if you liked what you saw, you can come back and see us next Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sunday. You can see us on Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we will be reviewing Avengers Endgame next week. Otherwise, you could always watch T-Pop on Wednesdays, third player optional, at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or the Har Har Podcast on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay. Nothing else? No? Going once? Going twice? Alright, thank you guys for joining us this week on this episode of Critically Casual, and we will see you next week with Endgame.
Bye! Bye! Bye!